From Commando.com, this is Commando on Demand, where we talk to the industry movers and shakers to keep you up to date on everything digital. We'll get started in a moment, but first, we'd like to recognize and thank our partners who help make these Commando on Demand podcasts possible. When you're hiring, you don't want to waste time sorting through dozens of irrelevant resumes. You want an efficient way to get to a short list of qualified candidates. You need Indeed.com. Post a job in minutes. Set up screener questions based on your job requirements. Then zero in on qualified candidates using an intuitive online dashboard. Discover why 3 million businesses use Indeed.com for hiring. Post a job today at Indeed.com/hire. Search for greatness. Search Indeed. I have to tell you here at the top of this podcast is for anybody who has a sense of humor. Companies have tried to get into this business for years, but it carries a stench of debt. And call me sentimental. But when I think of this technology, I can smell the crazy.
Woo! That's crazy!
I mean, would you buy a Febreze computer? You know, a computer that emits odors. They promised us smell-o-vision years ago. So where is it?
It's Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory presented in Smell-o-vision. What is the story behind Smell-o-vision?
What happened to it? Where is my interface that improves my online and virtual experience? I not only want to see things and hear things, where the heck is my digital smell?
Ooh, that smell.
Is Smellorama ever going to make a comeback? I mean, I don't know about you, but do we really even want to smell the hits? When I get on Netflix and stream Al Pacino in Scent of a Woman, will I actually smell the scent of a woman?
You know, I detect a fragrance in the air. Ogilvy Sisters soap.
It's amazing.
I'm America's digital pro, Kim Commando. And smell technology, well, let me just tell you, it's failed over and over again. Why is that? Don't we want our sense of smell engaged when you're online? Some experts say bringing smell to the computer in the digital age is actually one of the worst ideas ever. But I actually found one amazing application for smelling technology that will make something that you do even better. In fact, this one thing, yes, I'm talking about smelling technology, could actually revive an old and dead technology.
And it's going to change everything.
A promise of a more aromatic future that was denied us, oh, so sad, by the failure of smell-o-vision. But yes, I, Kim Commando, I'm standing up and I believe.
I'm a believer, and not a trace of doubt in my mind.
All right, so you might be saying, what the heck happened to Kim? That changed her and made her a believer in smell-o-vision. Well, that's our focus in this Commando on Demand podcast. That's what I love about doing these podcasts. We get to delve into issues and meet the newsmakers and the people behind the technology. And by the end of this podcast, let's see if smelling adds a new sense of wonder to your digital experience and takes it to the next level. Before we get to all that, just stay right where you are, because I have to extend a special thank you to our partners in this podcast. They help make it possible. Robinhood is an investing app that lets you buy and sell stocks, ETFs, options, and cryptos, all commission-free. Plus, there's no account minimum deposit needed to get started, so you can start investing at any level. The simple, intuitive design of Robinhood makes investing easy for newcomers and experts alike. View easy-to-understand charts and market data, and place a trade in just 4 taps on your smartphone. With Robinhood, you can learn how to invest in the market as you build your portfolio, discover new stocks, track your favorite companies, and get custom notifications for price movements so you never miss an opportunity to invest. Robinhood is giving listeners of Commando on Demand a free stock like Apple, Ford, or Sprint to help you build your portfolio. Sign up at invest.robinhood.com, invest.robinhood.com. Smellorama has been a promise for decades. So why won't it work? Why didn't it catch on? Back in the 1950s, they really pushed the Smellorama technology. And about 15 years ago, I don't know if you remember, there was a company called I Smell. I remember getting all the press junket information about it in the swag bag too. iSmell was this little tiny USB-powered scent dispenser that allowed you to send your scent to someone through the internet. A lot of people said it was going to revolutionize online dating, to which I went, yuck.
This is the smell cartridge, and you throw that inside. I can go to the website and I can click banana, and this sprays a little bit of banana smell.
And it's not just a person. It could also be a product or a service. Or you could send any type of scent that you could imagine over the web. Think about this. You're at home, you get an email, and when you open it, yes, it smells like home. Now, listen, this is serious business. iSmell raised, get this, $20 million in funding. Could you imagine that? In order to get $20 million, this company had to jump through all kinds of hoops. They had to do business plans, performance reviews, performas, you name it. They had to convince people that iSmell was going to be the next big thing on the internet. And they believed them. They were willing to put a boatload of money into developing their technology. And the video gaming industry, the motion picture industry, and e-commerce, they got all very excited. They said, yes, this is not the past. This is the future. We believe in you, Smell-O-Vision. But in the end, it too failed. And this leads us to the proverbial realization, the old saying, just because you can doesn't mean that you should. Nobody seemed to want the new technology, iSmell. But why? Why does Smell-O-Vision, iSmell, and anything related to smell keep failing and failing? But listen to this. I had an experience recently that convinced me that Smell-O-Whatever, it actually might have some legs. I had a virtual experience made better by scent. In other words, the smell during my experience made the experience so much better. And if you ever have this experience, I think you're also going to agree with me. It's so much better when you can smell it. My experience was at none other than the masters of the creative and magical experience, Disney.
When you wish upon a star, makes no difference who you are. Anything your heart desires will come to you.
In case you haven't been there, in Southern California, you actually have two parks. There's Disneyland and there's California Adventure. The two parks are right adjacent to each other. And I have to tell you, if you buy tickets, buy it for both parks because you're going to want to go to both parks. At California Adventure, they have a ride called Soarin' California. They use Smell-O-Rama to make the ride incredible. A complete suspension of reality in their technological wonder. The ride is a virtual reality experience convincing you that you are truly hang gliding all over the state of California. You strap into this hang gliding harness and you stare at this 80-foot, 180-degree dome screen. And as the movie starts, an ever so slight lift of just a few inches transports you through movement. And I have to tell you, you are just convinced that you are actually hang gliding over the state of California. And as you soar over the mighty Pacific Ocean, the saltwater scents of the ocean are misted right into the air, and you're actually smelling the refreshing salt air. And you could swear that you're just flying over the crashing waves of the beautiful shores of the California coastline. Then you soar inland towards the majestic orchids of the many orange groves that give Orange County its name. And then you silently float over the seemingly endless orchid of ripe orange groves. Oh my gosh, it's really amazing. The scents of ridiculously fresh oranges are dispensed in the finest mist. And for a very memorable moment, you believe you are actually flying over the many beautiful sights of the state of California. I wanted to understand more about the scents and how important it is to us as a species. So I reached out to Dawn Houghton. Dawn is an innovation consultant, and for 14 years she worked at Procter & Gamble, where she learned how important scent is to all of our household products. So Dawn, let's start here at the very beginning.
It's the reptilian brain that is linked to odor, and it's at such a deep level. When you smell something, you'll either say, oh, this was my grandmother's house. You don't know what it is. You didn't know it was lavender, for example. But you smell it, and you're like, oh, this reminds me of Grandma. But you know, they're very personal. You know, if your grandmother smelled like lavender and my grandmother smelled like cinnamon because she was baking, different people have totally different preferences.
Why has this technology failed in theaters and in, say, computer applications? I would think that when we're watching Wolfgang Puck make the perfect roasted chicken, I mean, wouldn't we want to smell it?
Now, your food example is interesting because smelling a food, it'll smell the same to everybody. But if I'm watching a food show and I want to get kind of that experience, you know, I want to see it, I want to hear the sizzle or whatever sound there might be, and I do want to smell it to know what it is. So it's kind of like truth. So those types of things. Now, then your question is, why don't people care about that? Right? I mean, why aren't they saying, why can't my computer or TV smell?
Can you think of any movies that would be better with smell? I can't. What about scratch and sniff? Are you ready for that to make a comeback? And don't you think virtual reality would be so much better with the sense of smell? Well, I'm going to share with you the one movie that might change your feelings about smell-o-vision. Do you know what that one movie is? Can you guess? Let me give you a hint. It's one of the classics of all time. You've laughed so hard that it probably made you cry. But would the actual smell of the movie make you cry more? Let's share it together, don't you think? All right, we're going to do that next. Before we get to that, a quick break from one of our partners in this podcast. It's 2019, and technology has grown leaps and bounds since 1999. So why are you still using that old, outdated software? Find software that fits your business's needs using Capterra.com. I get asked all the time for different recommendations, and I refer people to Capterra.com. With over 700,000 reviews of products from real software users, discover everything you need to make an informed decision. Search more than 700 specific categories of software, everything from project management to email marketing to yoga studio management software. No matter your business needs, Capterra makes it easy to discover the right solution fast. Join the millions of people who use Capterra each month to find the right tools for their business. Visit Capterra.com/Kim today to find the right tools to make 2019 the year for your business. Once again, that address is Capterra.com/Kim. Let me spell it for you. Capterra.com/Kim. Okay, welcome back. So, Dawn, when I look at your amazing background, it reminds me of the 7 senses. I don't know if you remember that from school, but there's touch, movement, smell, taste, sight, hearing, and balance. And everybody says that the 7 senses are fundamental to our ability to learn and function in any environment. And obviously, scent is very important to us as a species. I told you I would share with you the one movie that might change your feeling about smell-o-vision. Do you have a movie in mind? Go ahead, just say it out loud. Are you ready to learn what that one movie is? Do you want to know my secret?
I want to tell you my secret now.
Can you guess? It's one of the classics of all time. You've laughed so hard, it probably made you cry. But would the actual smell of the movie scene make you cry even more? It's the campfire scene in Blazing Saddles.
How about some more beans, Mr. Taggart? I'd say you've had enough.
Therein lies the reason why people don't want this.
All right, maybe you're right. Maybe that's why people don't want this. I mean, if you have smell-o-vision, would you turn it on for that movie? It may be one of the most classic scenes of all time, but it probably is better without the emissions. Maybe that's what the world is afraid of. Or maybe the TV show Naked and Afraid.
Yeah, well, that I need the hot and the cold and the sun shining down on me, and everything stinks on there, I think.
Okay, so smell-o-vision we never really apparently loved. The technology never really took off. But what about e-commerce and also scratch and sniff?
When you think about e-commerce and compare it to brick-and-mortar commerce, one of the biggest differences is you go from a multi-sensory, potentially 5-sense experience in the store to a visual experience, maybe some sound, but typically a 1-sense experience online. That's what Scratch and Sniff is all about, is it allowed a magazine to communicate to the consumer with another sense, right? Because a magazine is only visual, but the Scratch and Sniff lets you know right away, oh, do I want the floral or the lemon? let me see what they're like. So it actually doesn't smell exactly the same, so that's not a good vehicle for them. There's probably plenty of categories, especially for new products, that would never sell through e-commerce until you've had a physical purchase experience.
What about perfumes? I can't stand it. Whenever I walk into a department store, they try to attack me with sprays of perfumes. Will that come to my phone or my tablet? Will I enter in my passcode and then just get sprayed?
Go to a Westin, it smells like white tea. Their white tea fragrance everywhere. It's piped into the hallways, it's piped into rooms, and it's supposed to give you a multisensory experience. If you're on a computer and you're working, you want to have a fragrance that energizes you when you want to work hard, or one that relaxes you when you want to go to bed after you're done working, or kind of a blend with aromatherapy, therapeutic benefits.
I see how that could be nice. 3D came back. It was around the 1950s, then it went away, then it came back with better technology, when actually it went away again because people didn't want to deal with the limited movies and the goofy glasses. But why not smell-o-vision? Maybe with e-commerce so popular now, it could maybe finally succeed?
E-commerce, because that is a monetized thing, right? There's incentive for that. Might be more likely to have a need for something like that. But, the thing is, fine fragrance is where the money is. They're going to be about experience.
Yes, the experience. That's what we want. The experience at Disney with the Soarin' ride, where they really engage all of your senses to make a true virtual experience. So do you think that we can engage the smell-o-vision technology to improve our experiences?
Well, your entertainment, the Disney entertainment example, it seems like an IMAX sort of thing, the kind of that total immersion of sound, sight, smell makes sense. And then they've got those, D-box systems where you're getting the movement at the same time. I think you've got 4 senses there. You're just not tasting anything. So I can see it in entertainment.
I know that scent or smell can be big business. In fact, Starbucks says the most successful seasonal beverage that they've ever released is the, are you ready for it? Drum roll, please. The pumpkin spice latte. Forbes says the pumpkin spice business is a $500 million a year business. And according to Marianne Drake at the North Carolina State University, it's not the taste that's a driver for the sales. It is the smell. Smell is primal. It triggers those loving memories of home and holidays and baked goods. Those are the smells of the holidays and getting gifts and seeing loved ones. It's the smell of loving friends and family. And our sense of smell is sometimes stronger than our sense of taste. I can smell the cinnamon at the airport on final approach even before landing. Is there a more beautiful smell than freshly baked cinnamon rolls? In fact, there was a report in the Wall Street Journal where Cinnabon claimed the scent was its greatest asset. And what about Abercrombie & Fitch? They famously spray their signature scent Fierce into their stores. In fact, it's not just for the atmosphere. It's been reported that the Fierce cologne generates more than $80 million in sales, too. And listen to this. On a recent episode of Shark Tank, Patrick McCarthy brought a product to Shark Tank. He said he had successfully bottled the smell of something we want, and we can never have too much of.
Introducing Money, the fragrance of success. The smell of money, baby. The smell of money. Can I get an amen? Amen? Amen. Good. Amen. Preach, brother, preach.
Now, he didn't get an investment, but he did get their interest. He said that he had read a study from Japan where employees became more productive when the company started spraying the smell of money.
Where they actually pump that fragrance through the vents to increase worker productivity.
They do it here, too.
It's called ambient scenting. It's actually about $100 million a year market and growing.
Have you looked at piping in the scent of your money in an ambient environment?
I haven't, but I have been approached by banks to use it as a gift. When you open an account with the bank, they actually will
give you your money back.
We'll give you money back. That's exactly right.
So maybe smelling like money is not what you want. But what about a new car? Would you like to smell like a new car? Not just any car. Lincoln decided to create Smellorama for the Navigator. That's right. They spent God knows how much to come with a signature scent for the Lincoln Navigator. Now, I thought that new car smell was already something we loved, but why come up with a brand new car smell just for the Navigator? According to Sue Phillips, the president and CEO of Scent Prizes and Centurium, they wanted to link the consumer lifestyle to the car in a multi-sensory way. So I guess that means Lincoln doesn't smell like Matthew McConaughey.
All right.
I got a good idea. Maybe we need to come up with the Kim Commando smell. What would it be? I think it should be happy, inspiring. It appears we all want the olfactory experience. So where is this all going? I predict there's going to be some Indiegogo or Kickstarter project or something that is going to make smell-o-vision an actual possibility. Where at some point in the future, if an advertiser wants you to smell that pumpkin spice latte ad that you're seeing on your screen, suddenly you'll be able to feel it. You'll be able to smell it. You'll be able to envision yourself drinking that pumpkin spice latte. And next time you're out and about, pay attention to the smells. See what they are. See how it changes your outlook, your mood. And finally, just a little tip about smells. This has nothing to do with technology, but it's a personal story. I had just gotten done climbing Machu Picchu a few years ago with my son Ian. There we were on the plane from Lima to Houston. I really don't know a gracious way to say this other than, well, the bathroom really smelled. I put my head in, immediately took my head out, and I looked at the flight attendant on duty, and I said, "Whoa, that's nasty." He said, "Don't you know the trick?" "What trick?" I said. "What is it? I need to know." He handed me a packet of coffee grounds. He told me, before you go into the restroom, just take these coffee grounds and rub them by your nose. And then when you go in the restroom, you won't smell all that nastiness. I looked at him like, "What are you talking about?" Well, I had no choice at 40,000 feet other than to take his sage advice. And you know what? It worked. And I left the coffee grounds in there. And when I went back, say, a couple hours later, there were like 4 or 5 packets of coffee grounds all around. And you can't smell this podcast, but I hope that you certainly enjoyed listening to it. It's such a fun and interesting topic, and I can't really wait to see what's next for our sense of smell. And by the way, don't forget to share this podcast with your family members and friends. And do me a favor, make sure that you subscribe to our podcast, Commando on Demand, that you just listened to. And get Tech News Today, perfect for your morning and afternoon drive. Tech News This Week, get you all up to date. And don't forget, every day, my consumer tech update. You're not going to miss anything. Just head over to iTunes, Google Play, and search for Commando. That's Komando.